Sister, I was born ready.
Um,
How was your week? How was your week?
oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it's like I don't know. It was a blur. I don't even remember that the week happened, so.
Really? How's work?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. They're about to have to be trained and stuff, so it's really cool. I'll get to start by doing yoga classes, so it'll be
Wait a
fun.
minute.
But
The job is about is yoga classes?
yeah, I work at a gym.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
it's a training center, so my boss is actually one of the first female boxers that went to the Olympics
oh,
for the US, yeah.
oh.
So it's a training center that specializes in boxing, but does also have like Pilates and yoga and stuff like that. And so I'll be one of the yoga instructors down the line, but right now I'm just, helping at the studio. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's cool. That's cool.
Be
That's good.
fun. It'll be fun. It's a nice, I've had my fitness certification, like personal training, nutritionist, and yoga instructor for years, and I don't really get to use it that much, because I'm not actively pursuing private clients and stuff like that. So, that'll be fun to get to actually use that skill, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you for nutritionist advice. So,
Oh yeah, anytime.
of course. Yeah.
Anytime. Your homework is to send me 3 detailed days of what you've been eating, and then we can go from there. I can
Yeah,
fix it.
it's pretty bad. Because
So, I've
Nasha was
noticed one thing. Yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. What'd you say?
I've noticed one thing because, as a nutritionist, and this is a going joke where I will say, as your nutritionist, I should say you probably shouldn't be doing this right now, right? But I'll do it. Like I know what you should be doing, but I'll do it. And it's funny how one big thing that helped me and that helped a lot of the people when I was trying to help them walk them through like cutting calories and stuff is I think if by early afternoon you
Mhm.
already can't count on one hand what you've been eating and snacking,
Mm.
that's too many snacks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot.
Like you
Uh,
keep it to like a minimum, I think, of like your core meals,
mm,
and you're allowed to snack, but plan them. You know what I
mm,
mean? So,
yeah, yeah. Nasha was my nutrition. I got some nutritionist advice from her like a couple of years ago, and I kind of was disciplined with it for a while, but then I just kind of like went away from it. But once in a while, I'll remember because I have it all on my wall, all the things, and I'll just remember and I'll come back to it. But then
I'll tell
I'll
you.
get so late. Being being able to stick with it, it means like you cooking your own meals. And I just get so
Yes.
lazy with it and I
Yes.
just
I
order.
cook all Sunday. I cook all Sunday for the week. But I'll tell you what, one really big observation, and it's not something that you'll learn from like the nutritionist handbook or whatever, especially not the one where you do the certification here in the US. But, after the third baby, I was stuck for the longest time. I couldn't lose almost any weight.
Mm,
Since I've come back from Europe, which I want to say it's been like 6 weeks, I've managed to lose 10 pounds.
okay.
It
Oh,
it really is that there is stuff in our food here, and I managed to detox that stuff. So you're saying you can stick to it for a while and then you kind of fall off the deep end. It's because when we end up buying some of these foods out there, you become addicted to them and it's easier to crave them again and it's easier to go back and get them again.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you are completely cut off from that stuff, suddenly your salad tastes amazing. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
totally fine. That's what
And
you're craving.
I was going to the farmer's market every Saturday morning to buy some stuff. And I think I'm gonna have to do that again before the weather changes. But it all just takes discipline. It all just takes discipline. Like I said, I
It
used
does, but I also have a friend. She's a doctor, but she works like for the pharmacies and the doctor parts, like the vision center and stuff, at Walmart, right? And she's like one
mm,
of the district managers or something. And so she just told me that apparently Walmart, for example, is only allowed to buy like grade A foods, while even Harris Teeter is allowed to to buy like B and C foods and stuff like that. So like the meats and all that stuff, the quality is actually better at Walmart. I would have never guessed.
Uh,
I would have never guessed.
I
So
don't.
like, but there's
Yeah,
like there's just things that are allowed in American foods that we have banished forever ago in Europe. So being over there for 5 weeks, I managed to like my body cleaned off of all that addictive stuff.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. It does. It does.
And then it's
I
easier to stay away.
Yeah, it really I understand what you're saying. I don't want us to go too much into nutrition and stuff like that, but I get what you're saying because me and my coworkers we talk about it a lot, and we're trying to like discipline ourselves to eat a little bit more clean, healthy, green, and stuff like that, and just stay away from a lot of the just a lot of stuff that's just not healthy, or at least keep it to a minimum. You know,
80% is what they're saying. You should be sticking to your like clean stuff for 80% and you should be really good.
yeah, it all takes discipline, and information, and discipline, and yeah. That's why I'm trying to move forward doing that. We're getting older, can't eat all that stuff anymore.
You can do it.
I can do it. But
Getting older is
I
a
have you
state
to
of
motivate
mind.
I have you to motivate me. All right.
Yep. I'll
So
call you up and be like, as your nutritionist, I should say, you should
yeah,
not be eating this right now.
yeah. Be like, hey Bola, don't eat that burger. Stay away from it. And be like, I don't have a burger in my hand. Like I see it in your hand. Get it away.
Actually, burgers are not that bad. Come on. I love
Mm,
burgers. Like it's my if
that's
I do
probably
cheat, it'll be burgers and fries. That's like my go-to. I will not like I
that
could
is
live without pizza a day in my life, for example. Like there's so many things where people are like so obsessed with these things that I'm like I could not touch it ever. But a
well,
good burger, like a real one though, okay?
yeah.
Like a real burger with the real like meat and fries are just my weakness.
Yeah. I mean, those are your 20%. That's your 20%.
And chocolate.
Well, I can't stay away from chocolate. I gotta eat chocolate and cookies. But anyway,
Yeah.
kick us off.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Movie Unboxing with Marty and Bola. We are both filmmakers, and we dive into a film every week to unbox how it was made and what makes it tick, talking about the movie from a filmmaker's perspective.
Why is Marty here again? This. All right. For this week, this was my choice because this is the Halloween.
Bola's choice, guys.
My
Seriously, it
choice.
was not my
This
choice.
Yeah, this is a horror. This is a horror month, so we kicked off with the first horror film for this month, and it was Bram Stoker's Dracula. It was released in 1992. Was
Hmm.
directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola is the guy who directed Godfather Part One and Part Two,
Yeah.
a cop, Apocalypse Now, The Rainmaker, and a couple of there's a couple of those are some of the popular ones, and Godfather Three, The Cutting Club. He directed some of those. It was adapted from the book Dracula, written by Bram Stoker. This was released. The book was written in late 1800s in the UK.
Like the original Dracula story, right?
Original Dracula story, yes.
Hmm.
There's a lot of great and well-known actors in this movie. You have Gary Oldman, who plays Count Dracula. You have Winona
Gary
Ryder
Oldman.
that plays Mina Hacker and Elizabetha. You have Keanu Reeves that plays Jonathan Hacker, I think. You have Anthony Hopkins that plays Val Van Helsing. You have Sadie Frost that plays Lucy. You have Carrie Elwes. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. He plays Arthur Holmwood, and you have Richard E. Grant, who plays Dr. John Seward. Now, first of all, you texted me last night saying you were watching the film and it was difficult for
Okay, okay. I was watching the second half of the film yesterday. It
so
took me 2 days to watch the film.
what was the
This
second
is no statement on the film quality or length. It's a statement based on how long and like my nights were this week. Like I just couldn't watch a film for 2 hours. I just couldn't. Like I just couldn't. So I'm glad I started on Tuesday because then I had the other half to finish yesterday.
Mm,
So yeah, no, it took me a while to watch it just because it was long and my kids weren't sleeping good this week, so it's been a blur and I've been up a lot last night.
yeah. So, what part? So when you said when you texted me, you said like, oh, it was a this was difficult and gross. What part was that? What scene was that?
So, because you actually asked me too, like it's not that horror. It really is not that horror.
Hmm?
It's not scary. It's not, there was not even like, it just, I think it's the theme that's hard for me to watch. Like, I just don't, all of the sexual stuff was just gnarly to me. Like, I don't know why. It's just not for me. Like, I get the story, right? And honestly, ultimately, it's a love story. I didn't even think it was, and I've seen it before. Like, it's not like this is the first time I've ever heard of it. Plus, so many parallels to Nosferatu. It's almost interesting
Hmm?
to explore that. But I am not one to actively, willingly go back to watch something with this much nudity, but also it's not the nudity part, it's the level of how it was just graphic. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just
Okay.
not.
So for me, okay, so let's just tell everybody what the movie's about. This is the original Dracula story, and it
Yes.
starts off by telling us that Dracula originated was at first was in the late 1400s. You had the Muslim uprising. Muslims were like, at this time the Muslim nations were the dominant power, and they were moving across Europe, coming from the east. And I'm sure in Poland, you guys might have had maybe some Muslim influences or buildings that look. I don't know if Poland
We
got if
strangely really don't too many. Like it almost kind of went lower,
lower.
it
Okay,
went,
okay,
but
okay. All right.
so we have a lot of Soviet influence and next to no, we have a lot of them in Germany, but
Yeah,
Poland kind of got skipped. I don't
yeah.
know.
So it makes sense. You got Hungary,
But the
mostly
Balkan is
Hungary,
down there,
that
yeah.
southern part. So,
Mhm.
and Dracula's family or Count Dracula is kind of like, he's leading the Orthodox Church has appointed him to lead the armies of Christendom to fight the Muslim invaders and push them out. And
Mhm.
in doing that, he has, he successfully does that. But his wife, played by Winona Ryder, her name is Elizabetha. First of all, they established that these two are so in love with each other. Like they're so much in love.
Yeah,
Like she doesn't want him
it's
to,
deepest passionate love. Yes.
yeah, like she doesn't want him to go fight because she feels like he's gonna die and not come back. And he doesn't want to leave, but he feels obligated to leave because he has to go fight for God. He goes and he's successful, and
He
then
makes it,
he's successful. But
ironically.
then the Muslims play a trick. They write to his castle, and then they send a message to the castle saying that, oh, he actually died. And when the wife
Yeah.
heard read the note, she killed herself. But that was not true. Count Dracula actually survives. He comes back home and he finds that his wife is dead, and he is so pissed. He's like, wait a minute now. I went to go fight for God, and this is my reward? Like, God, is this my
Mhm.
reward for fighting for you? Like I did all this. And then so he's angry, and then he takes the sword and he stabs the cross, and the cross starts bleeding, and then he drinks the blood. And I think in doing that in anger, I think that's when he got cursed to be a vampire for the rest of his life. So one thing I took from that that's how the story opens
Mhm.
is the color. There is so much color in this movie, and I know you're such a big fan of how films are shot with color and stuff like that. Since like Trey's taught you all this stuff, this thing was
Yeah, I meant to look up what green color meant too.
green color.
Yeah.
But in the movie,
No, generally, what does green stand for? You know how specific colors stand for very specific emotions
well, I think green starts for because there was a scene there with him and when her and Keanu Reeves were sitting and they were sitting in the garden, and that's when he was about to leave, and that whole place was just green. And I think
Well,
Green's.
she also she so it's her and her friend, right? They
Mhm.
always have these like kind of polar opposite colors in the in all the scenes. And of course the other one is she's the crazy one, right? She's
She's
already
the
like she's got all
sexually.
these like
She's
potential partners. She's so
yeah.
sexually interested in all this stuff. And she's like provocatively redly dressed and stuff like that. That was kind of clear. But she was so green. It was light blue, teal, or green. But the green stood out to me when she first meets Dracula again, because they're going through the town and literally the whole town seems grayish, black and white, and only her hat and dress were so vibrantly green.
So I think the
She was
green
the
in that
only
situation.
person that stood out
Yeah.
in the whole
So I
town, and
think I think the green represents her innocence.
because she's extremely naive to trust him.
She's not. Well, she is naive. She is naive.
Mhm.
She because first of all, she almost doesn't know anything about sex because we see her reading the book in the beginning, and then her
And
friend
she's
comes
like,
in
do
there and
people
tells her.
actually do that? Okay, come on. Those pictures were creepy. I would ask the same question.
I mean those they look like the Kama Sutra or something like that, right?
They did. I think they weren't necessarily that. It's just like we have to remember, and that's why it's a little bit hard to analyze this film for us who have been analyzing films from 2025.
Hmm.
While this came out in 92, which is like almost when I was born.
Hmm.
Like the movie's almost as old as I am. So, like it was a little different, right? Like right now, if you are picturing the same set, the same scene, and you've got two girls giggling about like, oh my gosh, what can we do with guys? They would be looking through like something on their phones, and there would be photography, and you would see photos of the poses. It would look different. This is like an old book. So
Yeah,
they look crazy because the pictures were crazy because they were painted and stuff. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't think
And
it was that insane. Like I think it was regular poses. Like it
no,
was like it was
I thought
doggy style or something. Like it
I
wasn't,
thought it was
you know what I mean?
I thought it was the Kama Sutra. It looked like the Kama Sutra to me because I've seen the
Is that
Kama
a thing?
Sutra book,
Is that
and
a
that's
thing
what
in the 90s already? Yeah. In the
what?
90s, yes, but this is not happening in the 90s, right? This is
No, it's
happening
happening in the 1800s. So the Kama Sutra is
exactly.
old. It's old.
But has
It's
it
a,
traveled the world in the 1800s already?
remember the British already have under Indians already British under
Oh
British
yeah. Okay, yeah,
control at
that's
that
true.
time.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. No,
British,
okay.
India was already under British rule by the 1700s. So yeah,
Right.
so it's
Right.
traveled.
I stand
Yeah,
corrected. All right.
yeah, yeah. So I think the green represents her innocence and naivete. While Lucy, like you said, she has the red. She has the red color, which represents her vivaciousness, and she's full of life, and she's so flirtatious and everything like that. So that you saw those two contrasts there.
Mhm.
In the beginning, Dracula's the color, everything in that beginning was red also, and I think the
Mhm.
red was also highlighting. As you can see right here, he has red here. I think the red is highlighting that the sense of danger.
Bloodthirst? Oh,
Well,
okay.
yeah, bloodthirst, not well, yeah, because he's, in his the way he's fighting the war, fighting the Muslims, he's brutal.
Exactly.
He's very brutal and stuff like that. And you can see this, it's like the stick figurines,
But
the
also
way
the
they
Crusaders had red as a color too, did they not?
who
Crusaders?
the Crusaders, they
Yeah.
had like well, they had different colors, they had different military orders at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think you're talking about the Templars with the red cross in the
Yeah, well,
middle.
because they're fighting for the Christians as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. You had different Christian military orders at that time. Some were wearing white, some were wearing black, some were green, yellow. They were just different. They were just part of different military Christian orders. The most popular one being the Knights Templars with the white cloak and gown, and then with the red cross in the middle. So and that was, I think that was even before the year this story would have taken place.
Right,
Um,
but
yeah. So
yes, red in the beginning could already be foreshadowing and suggesting, right? This whole
yes,
bloodthirst
yes, yes.
like develops eventually.
So what another part that I like is that, once he's now become a vampire, he's now he instructs he's trying to buy all these lands, these buildings in England, and he has a lawyer come over, which is played by Keanu Reeves, who comes over, and obviously we see the path that he's traveling. It's dark and very, very like scary. Like I would have turned back. I'm like, nah, this is not worth my career. I'm going back home.
Right? But he was
Yeah,
so determined because we hear the conversation where Mina's like, well, he thinks he's not making enough money to deserve me, so he's going because this job pays so well. He will
yeah.
do it for love, because they're just as in love, these two.
Well, I don't know. I think the love between now let's tell the audience that Winona Ryder's character is is a reincarnation of
Right.
Dracula's old wife from 1400. So this story is moved to
Identical.
the
Mhm.
late. So she looks exactly like um Dracula's old wife, and I think that's what sparks his interest in Keanu Reeves for him because once he sees that picture, he says, "Okay, you've got to stay here." He makes him stay here, and
They're
so
trying to keep them, he's trying to keep them for
apart,
marriage. Because
apart,
yeah.
married. And here's the thing. This is what I determined between because I know we have to compare Nosferatu's to Dracula. Well, we have to compare Nosferatu to Dracula because Dracula came out first.
Right.
This Dracula is romantic Dracula. Nosferatu
Right?
is just a monster.
Yes, because he just wants to take someone's woman. It wasn't like a reincarnation. This
Yes.
guy actually is like completely over the moon in love with this girl because she looks exactly like his wife.
And remember in the scene when they went to look at the early version of camera and video or something like that, whatever that was. Remember he had a moment where he grabbed her and he was trying to force himself on her to like, bite her, but he stops himself.
Mhm.
And I've never understood why until today when I watched it. I was like, oh, she's got to give her permission to do that. She's got to want it.
Well, okay, so the understanding being that what vampires have, this ability is almost like a siren ability of enchantment, right?
Yeah.
They can force you. Basically, they will just tell you, you want this, and then you want this, but he doesn't want to do that with her.
He wants her to give herself to him
He
willingly.
wants her to want it herself. Yes.
Herself because he's because in the bedroom when he actually does it he stops himself again. He said like, no, I can't do this to you. I love you so much, I can't condemn you.
Because yes,
And
he wants this to be the real thing. I think what it is, it's a curse, like you said, and the vampire curse, he doesn't actually want this curse. It's not like he's extremely happy with this. He thinks his problems will all be solved when he is united with his love again.
hmm
And he can't because he can't die, right? Because,
hmm
I mean, he was a Christian, so he believed that if he dies and she died, they will meet in heaven.
yeah,
But they
but he
don't because he
but
can't die.
he can't die and she's been dead for a long time and this is the
Exactly.
reincarnation and he wants her perfect.
Exactly.
He wants her perfect the way she is and the way she
Yeah.
is perfect for him. To condemn her to become a vampire, now he's sullied her and he doesn't want to do that. That's why
No.
that's
Yeah.
why in that first instance when he comes in his young form at her, he tries to bite her and he stops himself. And she went, and then they have a moment where he's looking down at her, about to bite her, and she's struggling. She says, like, and she's pausing. She said, like, I know you. I've seen you before. She's remembering that she's remembered that she's seen him before. Now she's thinking it's her dream. And it could be so subliminally, it could be her dream.
He's been, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's a reincarnation of his wife from 400 years earlier. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So and that's why when her and Van Helsing was riding back to Transylvania, she remembered, all these places like, oh, the palace is right there. And he's like, it's like you've been here before. Like, yes, I think I've been here before. And that's because that was her 400 years earlier. So
Yeah.
I think, like I said, this Dracula
Very different.
is so romantically different than Nosferatu. Nosferatu
He's
is
got a
just
motivation that we can follow. You know what I mean?
like what?
I'm saying he's got a motivation that we can follow. He's got the true love that he had, and he wants to return to that true love, while the other one, like you said, was just felt like he was just evil. He was just a monster. He was just, you couldn't really relate to his evil. Does that make
Yes,
sense?
yes, you can relate to this guy because every one of us loves someone or loves something or will love someone or love something, and we do not want to sully them. We do not want to put them in harm. We don't want nothing to happen to them. And if something should happen to them, then we feel guilty, like it was my fault. I think he feels guilty that he
Hmm.
went off to go fight, and then he came back and she died, and he's like, it's my fault. And I have to rectify this, and he
She asked
rectified.
me not to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. She begged me not to go, saying that if I leave, I would die. But the death was it was I was dead. I think it's more like a spiritual death because he does come back physically, but what goes on is not him anymore. It's the
Right,
undead.
exactly.
He actually
Hmm.
does die. And so I think this is a way for him to rectify it. And in rectifying it, I think he wants to first of all he does want to like bite her and turn her into a vampire so she can live on with forever with him. But then he realized that no. This is I don't want her to be spoiled. I don't want her to be sullied or anything like that. I want her to remain as perfect as I remember her. Just this beautiful and and because there was a
And
statement
innocent
I
because you turn extremely uninnocent when you become a vampire.
exactly, you're not innocent anymore. But I think there was somebody some I heard it from another movie where he said like somebody said like everything the gods are jealous of us humans, and I first understand why, because everything is so beautiful to us. We only get this one life, so everything is beautiful and stuff like that. So we can't take anything for granted. Everything has meaning. The love is meaning. The children have meaning. Your friendship has meaning. Your ups and downs, they have meaning. Whereas if you live forever, it doesn't have any meaning to you anymore.
Hmm.
You just live. So, and I think that's one reason why he did not want to do it at first, but she begs him to do it. She like, yes, I want to do it because now I think she's fully realized that she is. Well, I don't think she knows she's a reincarnation, but I think she fully realizes that there's a strong bond between her and Count Dracula, and
Something was there, yeah.
there's something pulling her there. Um,
And
and I think,
I think the moment that she really, because at first she was like, I don't even want to talk to you. Then she kind of breaks and says, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. But then she's not really convinced of him until he makes her pet the wolf.
mm,
That is like a moment that shows him in such a gentle and caring way because who can just pet wolf, right? And be like, look, he's fine. Like he likes you. You know what I
yeah,
mean? She,
yeah,
I think when she saw that was the moment where she like a door opened. Does that make sense? Before
yeah,
that, she was engaged to someone else, and that's it. But a
hmm,
door opened where just an inkling of interest showed up. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah,
And that's when it started slipping, kind of.
yeah. And th so I just like the way he was depicted in this story better than the Nosferatu's movie. I just think he's more romantic, he's more sensitive. I mean he cried, remember in this scene where he's talking to Keanu Reeves' character and sees her picture and he was crying when he was remembering his wife. It's like it seems like a
Yeah, and
lifetime
then
ago.
also, so all of his like monstrous behaviors afterwards too, killing Lucy, it all happened as a response to pain. Does that make
Yes,
sense? Like,
yes,
oh,
yes.
she actually got married. Fuck this shit. And he blows up and he like kills Lucy, but
Yeah.
he's been trying. He's been trying to be better this whole time
So
for
my thing
her.
is this though, why did he attack Lucy the first time? Remember the first time when Winona Ryder's character comes out and sees this monster on top of
Yeah,
Lucy.
I think I think that's instinct. Like I think that's because he is a vampire and he is a this is like this instinct thing and she wanted this. Like she's been freaking crazy for it, right?
Mhm.
Um but then he sees her and he goes, "No, I can't be seen like this." He rejuvenates
Mhm.
apparently, but also that's when he makes an active choice to be better for her.
Mm, mm,
So
Okay.
it really is sort of, you could translate this into, and like, let me do a simple example. Let's not go really overboard into details, but like, say like a guy is just kind of a player, right? And he's just
Hmm.
like, he just does all this stuff, and he, I don't know, goes out drinking all the time and smokes, but then he meets the one where he's like, oh my gosh, she's the one. I'm gonna stop messing around. I'm gonna stop going out all the time for her. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, that makes
That's what
sense.
that felt like. That's what
That
that felt like.
yeah, that makes sense.
And
That
he
makes
is
sense.
a vampire. Like, he is Dracula, so he, his instinct was to just pounce, right? But
Hmm.
then he sees her and everything changes.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does. And
And
you're right.
then again, imagine you are this like crazy dude that like plays all the time and like goes out all the time, and he gives all of that up for a girl, and then she rejects you. Then you do, right? You go straight back into a double. Like
Exactly.
that's what
That's
happens
that was his
out of like
reaction.
frustration.
That was his reaction when he went over and
Yeah,
finished off Lucy. Like, you know what?
exactly.
Brrr, he just went off there and he just killed her out of anger and stuff like that. And talk about Lucy as a vampire. Like that few moment as a vampire, that was probably the if there was a scary moment in the movie, that was it. When they went into the tomb and then they pulled it over and then she was not there. And then you just heard the baby cry. You just saw her coming down with a wedding
Oh my
gown.
God. Okay, I can't. Okay. That is what I mean by hard to watch. And I remember that I think we've spoken about this before. I have changed severely when becoming a mother. And there's things that I can't physically stomach, and that is children getting hurt. Like, I'm like, what?
Well, she didn't
Why are
she didn't
babies being eaten? Like,
she
I'm not
didn't she
okay
didn't
with it.
she didn't eat the baby. She didn't do nothing to the baby. I mean,
No, he fed a baby to his like
oh,
women
he's what
before.
he's women. But yeah, but we didn't see that. We didn't see it.
No,
We,
that's not the point. You
okay.
don't see it. It's the fact that like innocent creatures, I don't know. But yeah, so that was rough. But also I made a joke. I made a joke when I watched this because the way she looked, right? And it's like, and this is what I'm talking about when we're analyzing things in 25 from 1992. The way she was dressed, the way she acted, and the way she looked,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
It was so abstract for 1992.
Remember now, this is set in 1880. This is set in
I
late
know,
18.
but think about it for a second. Do you not think somebody like Lady Gaga would go out like this tomorrow?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
and I was like looking at it, I was like, oh my
I
gosh,
thought
she just
what
reminded me of Lady Gaga so hard for some reason because Lady Gaga would literally go out like this to
I didn't even
freaking
think about Lady
Liverpool. I
Gaga.
don't know.
What I thought was when she came back, she came down the stairs with the child, and then they called her, and she turned back around. I said in that moment, this girl loves being a vampire.
Right?
She
Because
would
she was messed
love
up before. It
she was
suits her.
already I won't say she was a bad person, but she was not she already had that personality.
She wasn't innocent. She was
She wasn't
intrigued,
innocent.
like,
Yeah, so she would love if she was conscious of what she was at that moment, she'd be like, "Oh, I want to be this forever." Like you
hmm
mean I can get to do whatever I want? I all I have to do is just sleep during the daytime. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
already a night owl anyway, so I think at that moment, and I think to me, that was probably the scariest. When I first saw the film when I was younger, that was probably the scariest moment for me. So I was worried that I was going to be scared when I saw it today, but I wasn't. I was like, okay, cool. I'm over it now. But
Well, it
that would
feels
have been
different,
this.
I think. It feels
What?
different when you're watching something like that again. Like
Yeah.
when you've already seen it, it's different.
Well, this is the first time I've seen it in a very, very, very long time. So I knew the scene was coming, and I was like, okay, how am I going to feel? But then when I saw it, I was like, okay, it's not so bad anymore. But to me, that scene just really encapsulates who Lucy's character is. That if she was conscious of who she was at that moment, she'd be like, I love this. I love me being this vampire. I don't think she cares about getting married or anything like that. I think what she wants is,
No, she wanted to be married to do shit.
yeah, she no, she wanted to be married because of the 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 free. I don't know if freedom is the right word to say. Just the I mean, she's getting married to somebody that will let her do whatever she wants.
Exactly.
Yeah. And now she can do whatever she wants as a vampire. She can come and she goes, kill
Yeah.
whoever she wants to kill, sleep whoever she wants to sleep with. Probably go get a new dress whenever she feels like getting a new dress. And she's strong. She's powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I think she would love that. Another thing I really liked about this movie is the way we like the colors. And I like the
Mhm.
way the camera was blending colors and it would blend from one scene to the next.
Mhm.
Like the scene where they were talking, they would look where the camera zoomed in into the drink getting poured in, and then it just zoomed in, and then the colors just blended into another scene.
So yeah, so I think at one point I told you it felt like I was on shrooms. There was moments where so much happened all at
Yes,
once where I'm
yes,
like,
yes.
oh, it feels like I've just taken drugs, which I don't know too much about that, but because I'm a very innocent person, but it feels like that a little bit. And which reminds me, and I've been wanting to do this, like I really want to do this thing where we kind of finish with picking like a favorite scene. Like, is there something that you like particularly about this? Like, I know that one of my favorite scenes that I have noticed actively where I was like, that's such a cool shot was when he goes on the journey. And I don't remember if he's writing a journal or if he's reading a book. I think he's writing.
Ooh,
And
Keanu
you see
Reeves.
the book, yeah, and you see
Hmm.
the book. And above the book is when the train is riding, like it goes across the
And you
book.
see his eyes
And you see,
in the
yes.
skies.
And I thought that was such a cool shot because there was so much was happening. It was almost like you overlapped like three
Yeah,
scenes
yes,
into one.
yes. I think you saw a lot of that in this movie where you had like
Yeah,
two or three scenes overlapping each
but
other.
that's what I'm saying. It felt like drugs, but
Yeah. What
but
why
then
do you think
also
why do you think the director did that?
see, I think it really was an aesthetic. I think it was like an art thing to do. Which, and I bet you 1992 was probably the first time ever done like this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's also telling, I feel like it visually is giving you exactly what you are supposed to be feeling. You are feeling a little bit uneasy
Mm,
because something's about to happen that's not
mm,
good, right? And it's happening faster than you can follow. Because
mm.
that's what Dracula, right? He was moving faster than anyone else could.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
So,
So a lot of
yeah,
the things when it happened, you were like, wait, did all of this just happen all at once? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I
It
also
gives you
think,
that feeling that you can't keep up. And that's
yeah,
what it is. You can't fight him because you can't keep up with him.
yeah. I also think I agree with you with that. I also think it's a way to connect everybody. You know, there's a connection between everybody.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because that scene where, you know, Keanu Reeves' character is in the carriage and then you can see the shot of the two eyes in the sky and be like, oh, damn. You realize like, oh, because today was the first time I noticed that. I was like, oh shit, that's Dracula. I never noticed that before. I think the connection was being made that there's a connection between him, Dracula, and Keanu Reeves' character, and the connection is the wife. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then the other scene where she is having dinner with Dracula, and then she gets up and she's looking out the window, and he's kneeling by the chair, and she's talking about like how she thinks she's seen him before and stuff like that. And then the beginning scene of when she's begging him, you know, not to go and stuff like that,
Yeah.
starts to play in the background like very faintly. And I think that's
Yeah.
they're connecting it together. Like, okay, I'm
Exactly.
remembering these things, but see, that's
Uh-huh.
two, three scenes at the same time. But then
Exactly.
that's her remembering things from like the fact
It
that she's
was
a reincarnation of the wife.
yeah, it was artistically done so well. And then the same was one of the other scenes that I noticed that I really loved and to pull a connection to Nosferatu as well. We were talking about the shadows
Mm,
in Nosferatu, the scene where he looks at the picture
hmm.
and he's crying and he's talking to Keanu and he doesn't do anything, but his shadow is attacking him already. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like it
because like
was
the
just
shadow, he's having an emotion like you know like, oh, this reminds me of my
But his
wife and stuff.
subconscious wants to murder this guy because he's with
Exactly.
his
That's I was
girl.
just
Like,
about to
yeah,
say. He's like, you motherfucker, I hate you. That's what he's probably thinking inside.
exactly.
But he's being polite and stuff like so. The shadow is highlighting what
The
he's
irony
thinking.
of Dracula being polite too. Like,
Exactly. So my two favorite scenes in the beginning was the scene between um actually I have three favorite I have three. This first one where this is the first time you see him as Dracula. You know what I'm saying? With
Mhm.
the white and everything like that and the red and he's got the lamp and he's like, I am Dracula, like just being polite and stuff like that. I just love the red color on him and the white. It just makes him look so demonic, but at the same time, there's a little bit of
Yeah.
a regalness and respect to him and stuff like that. My second scene was when Keanu Reeves' character was shaving, and then he grabs the knife from him, and then he starts helping him to shave. I'm like, that just looks so dangerous. Like it
Yeah.
seems like he's gonna cut him, but at the end of the day, he's still
Yeah.
so polite to him and still so
Yeah.
respectful to Keanu Reeves, even though he's already made his mind that I'm not letting you out of this castle. I have to go get your
Right.
wife and make her mine. And then my third one is the Lucy scene in the tomb. That scene was
Yeah.
just that's a very powerful
Because
scene to me.
so
Because,
I have to say there is like there's like a human part to this Dracula, right? That the other one I feel like didn't have at all. It's this like apart from the fact that is this true love thing,
mhm,
this whole but there's also this like yeah, he doesn't let him out. He wants to have him trapped in this castle forever with his like little vampire women. But I think, like you said, he could have just killed him, right? And he
mhm,
didn't. Because I think his subconscious can't hate him fully. Because you know what it's like when you're in love with someone and they choose somebody else. You hate that person a little bit because they got this person. But
mhm,
also, if they treat your loved one right and make them happy, you can't completely hate them. Does that make sense?
mhm. Yeah, yeah. I
You
think
know,
what you're
so it's like almost like I don't know. I kind of respect you for, you know what I mean, for loving the same person that I do, kind of
yeah.
like.
I think what would have happened if I think he kept him alive because it would have been, like I said, it comes back to choosing him because that would have been cheating. Kill him, and then she has no choice but to choose Dracula then. Or keep him
Okay.
alive
Yeah, that's
so that
interesting.
she has to have the choice to like choose between
Okay.
Jonathan and Dracula. And she comes close to that, or she does come to that point where she does choose Dracula, but it doesn't really materialize. Um, I I truly love this movie. I think I even love it more because of the way Francis Ford Coppola directed this film and the way we talked about it with the colors and the way each scene was blended in with each other. Like you had two, three scenes
Yeah.
going on at the same
It
time.
was definitely done very artistically. One of the most beautiful scenes was when Lucy runs into the yard after so that's when Dracula attacks her afterwards. So she runs into the yard and it's just you see the garden. It's this beautiful garden, but it's dark and it's storming and she's running in the red sheer stuff and all you see is just like that sheer red
Oh,
stuff
that's
kind of
Lucy. Yeah,
floating.
Lucy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was just so
That was done.
beautiful.
That was
It was
beautifully
just
done.
it was like this could have been a photo shoot on its own, you know what I mean?
Yes,
It was
yes.
just pretty.
It really was.
So
Yeah, that's
it
a very good
definitely is
scene.
artistically, it was beautifully done.
Yeah, it really was. It really done. So another thing about the difference between the two Draculas, Nosferatu's and this, let's bring it to how you used like modern day guys with the players and stuff like that. The Nosferatus is just a complete monster, and there are going to be women that are going to find that attractive. But this Dracula is like a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I think this is the more seductive one. This is the
Mhm.
one that most women will fall for most of the time and not
Yeah.
know that they're dealing with a monster.
When he's rejuvenating, I mean, yeah, they made him cute. Like they made him like
Yeah, exactly.
handsome, everything. Um, Also, but if it comes to like the parallels, There's even that scene. So, okay, and I have to admit, I'm not 100% sure what the role is, but there's this man in the psych ward.
Okay, so in talking about in Dracula, right?
And they had him in Nosferatu too, remember?
Yeah, they do. Okay, so
So
I'm not.
what the heck? Like, I
I
just
think
like
I
I feel
they
like that
need.
whole part could not be there. You know what I
Well,
mean?
the part in the from what I understand in the book, his part is a little bit more expanded. And
Right.
I auditioned for a play years ago where I was supposed to play that part, and I
Okay.
auditioned for that role. I think he has a significant role. He's supposed to. I really don't know what he was supposed to do. I can't remember, but I think he's supposed to prepare the way for Dracula to come into in come to come. But that role
It was
was not
weird.
it was not expanded in in both films to me. So I think you might be right. It might
But they
maybe just
both had him in there. So I was like,
he's a
what? This is so
which shows
weird.
that
There's
he's a
like,
significant character in the story in the story. So,
yeah.
but I really
Yeah,
can.
so between that and between showing the travel towards Dracula's lair, so to
Mhm,
speak, and then them getting stuck there, and then them escaping and being held by and saved by some nuns,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All was very much the same
yeah.
story-wise. It was
So
very interesting to watch.
yeah, let's talk about the end when they finally stab him in the heart, and then she takes him into the church, to the same church where we first seen him in the beginning, where he gets the blessing from the priest to go off to war, and she's begging him not to leave, and he said something there like, release me.
Hmm.
I think he said something like release me or something like that, release me from this curse or something like that. And she just completely and she just stabs him into the heart, and then he dies, and then she cuts his head off. And then she's healed. She's
Is
healed.
she? That was going to be my question. Is
I
she?
think she's healed. She's healed, yes.
I thought the curse just comes off of
Well,
her.
the curse is not, I don't think it was fully done. I don't
Well,
know.
it was his blood that sort of poisoned her blood, right? So
Yeah,
once
yeah.
the curse is out of his, I don't know, it would make sense that she would be healed in my head.
Yeah, I think I think because
But I think it leaves it up for you to decide. I don't know.
I think she got healed, and I think I think he wanted to release her from the curse because he never wanted
Come,
it
come to
to
this.
yeah, to her for her to be this way. And so he says, release me, what I'm saying, release me and stuff like that. So what would you give what would you give this film out of 10?
Why do I have to start? You start.
Okay, I give it a I give it an 8.
I knew it! You were gonna give something an 8 for the first time or the second time ever.
I give it an
I'm
8. This
probably sticking to the 7, man. It's my standard.
7 is good. 7 is good
I
considering
do,
this is old.
I do absolutely appreciate this film. I do. I personally, and you know how we've been talking about how the rating is a little bit based on are you gonna watch it again? I think I might watch it again, but
I
it's not something that I'm like eager to watch again. And that's only because I am not the type of person that like I like the story. I like the story. I love the art of it, but there's just so much of like the graphicness was just too much and it was too I don't enjoy this level of graphicness, but that's me because my husband calls me prude. So, it
well
doesn't
compared to other films, like this is tame. This is very tame.
probably, I don't know. But I mean like it's just so um
I think
I don't know.
the overt sex was just too much.
It's just it's not even like because I don't mind nudity and I don't mind sex. I mind when it's almost made out to be gross and not sensual. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. I didn't like that Lucy part where remember when Anthony Hopkins puts a cross in front of her, and she crawls back into the coffin, and then he's still, praying, and then she comes back up and spits out the blood on him. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't get that part. I'm like, what's the
Oh,
point?
my issue was like close-ups of drinking blood out of nipples is what was gross to me. Like it's just I think it's the whole all the scenes with the like vampire girls from the guy and Keanu, like all of those scenes could be gone for me.
Yeah.
Like
Wasn't one of the girls Monica Bellucci?
oh, was it?
The one in the middle. Remember, he had one on this side, one on that side, and then the one that came
Oh,
off from in between his legs. I think that's Monica Bellucci from Italy, the Italian actors. I think that's her. That's the first
Monica
time I
Bellucci
looked
is
at it,
amazing. I
and
love
I'm like,
her.
oh, that
Yeah.
looks like her. That looks like her. So I'm not sure, but like I
See, and
said,
I have to also say that I do watch these films a little bit from the perspective of being an actress that has been asked on multiple occasions to provide nudity for a film, and I'm not willing, you know. And we are in a world right now where it's becoming a little bit more normal for a woman to just say, I do not want to do this.
mm,
But Winona Ryder back then, I do truly believe it was still the Hollywood that we have now, where it is like, if you say no now, you lose all your chances.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah. But like you said, I think we're getting to a part, we're in a place where everyone can just say no, and you can even if and if one door shuts, there's going to be other doors that will open because we have
We're
more the
working on that. I
actors have
mean,
more platforms and opportunities to get a job. And I think as obviously we're coming out of the Me Too or with the Me Too thing has made it to the point where as a woman you can say no, like no, I'm not doing that.
well, we're also technology wise so far ahead right now that if you wanted my character to be naked and I don't want to be naked at any point, this can be done. You know what
Okay,
I mean?
yeah, it
I
can be
don't
done.
think in the
Yeah,
90s it could have been done.
yeah,
So,
it can be done.
but there was
Yes.
just moments where like a lot of these actresses, I'm watching it from the perspective of these actresses have agreed to this and they couldn't have been comfortable because no matter how you are, it just isn't. I just saw an interview with Florence Pugh. She she was an Oppenheimer,
Mm,
but she's also like one of the Thunderbolts right now. So you've seen her, but in Oppenheimer, I know they have like a huge, big nude sex scene, right? And
mm,
there's an interview where she's talking about it, and she's talking about the fact that they decided, for authenticity wise, they had to actually be naked in the scene to film it, and the camera broke in the moment. And she's like, they were sitting like this, kind of super uncomfortable in a really tight space, while this dude's trying to fix the camera, and everybody's just like, hi. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just start thinking about how uncomfortable sometimes you are on set. And I'm not saying this is not female exclusive, because
mm.
I'm 100% sure this dude was just as uncomfortable in the
I
moment.
would
You know
be.
what I mean?
I
Yeah.
would be.
So
Yeah.
but we are asked a lot more often, to be fair, to
Yeah.
take
Well,
our clothes off.
I'm not gonna argue that. But
Yeah.
with this
So I do
film,
watch it from that perspective, and honestly, I do understand because I see, right? I see art, and I think like boudoir, and there's like a lot of art that is just nude, and that's beautiful, and that's fine, And I think
hmm
that's how this was written. I think that's how this was written. So
mm,
like when this girl Lucy decided, yes, I'm gonna be in it, and yes, I know I'll have my breasts out a lot, like you know what I mean? It
yeah.
was fine because this was a piece of art. But I do always look at it from the perspective of that these were really young girls, because I do think she was only 19 when she was in this.
Winona Ryder? I don't think so.
19 or 20, yeah, I think so. And so, maybe no, maybe she was just 21, something like that.
I don't know. I thought
When I
Winona.
was 21, I was just so naive. I was just so, but here we are. She's still in Stranger Things now, so.
No, she's a lot. She's a lot. Well, she's 53. So this movie was done in 1991. Was let me see. My math is
She was
crazy.
born in 70,
71.
71, so she was 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20. Okay. So to me, this film. compared, like I said, with Nosferatu's, that felt like a graphic novel come to life. This was like a painting that you see in
And
like,
I see it. I
yeah,
see
it was a
that.
painting come to life. And this was very
That is how
artistically done to me. And
oh,
this was this was more like a filmmaker's the filmmaker did sold this film, made this film. This was not necessarily like the actors or anything like that.
agreed.
Yeah,
Hmm.
this was really a filmmaker's and I think to me, I think Francis Ford Coppola did a more of a great directing job in this film than he did in Godfather, even though he's more known for Godfather. But I think as a director and being very artistic, I think this showcased his talent as a director more than The Godfather to
It
me.
was absolutely a piece of art. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I have to say, um, I don't see, I don't know because I really was like a baby in 92, so it's hard to tell. But I do want to say at the time, this was still a really bold move.
Oh
The
yeah,
way he did these things, it was
yeah,
very out of the box.
yeah.
So, um, so I really do think this is the type of stuff when you see something that's really out of the box, that's really different from what was okay back then. You know what I
Mm,
mean? What was
mhm.
normal back then. That's how you see a true artist. Does that make sense? Like you
Yeah,
see that
yeah,
he will go beyond like
yeah,
the norms.
yeah,
Um, and he will do it despite of the fact that he's thinking probably a lot of people will be like, holy shit, you should not have done that. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like
And
the risk taker.
it's still to me it still works well today. It still looks well today. I'm sure they're going to somebody will do a remake of Bram Stoker's Dracula soon. Hopefully it'll be me one day, and I can put my own spin to it. But we gotta, like I
Oh
said,
yeah.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is coming out in on probably
I
by the
know,
end.
so it's not out yet, so we can't talk about it next week, right?
No, we can't. We can't. So that
Okay.
which means you got to tell us what's your film for next week. Oh my
We're
God,
gonna,
please.
okay, so look, I was thinking about it, right? I'm not the horror freak, not anymore. There's movies that I've loved in the past, so
Mm.
unless you want me to pull out something really old,
You
I
know,
was
you pick
thinking that we would just watch it,
the old It or the newer one.
the new it.
So the first newer It.
It it one
It's one. Okay.
from the 2000s.
Okay. Okay. The
Is
clown.
that
All right.
fine?
That's fine.
Can
I've seen
you
it.
do it? Have you
I've
seen
seen
it?
both of them. And you know they're
You've
coming out
survived.
with
I haven't actually seen the second one. Maybe we should just watch both.
you want to watch
Do you
both? Okay, I can't
think you
deal with
want to
two
do
clown.
the
I can't deal with two clowns. Okay.
It's
I
the
can't.
same clown.
They're freaking scary. There's some scary moments in that thing.
Yeah.
There's some
No, it's freaky. But I do want to talk about it. You know why? For the most part, I want to talk about the clown because he is so good, but also it feels like it could be anyone, and then you're looking back at who it is, and it's really interesting. It's
okay.
really
You
interesting.
want to watch both or just the first one?
I'm okay with just I have not actually seen the second one. I
Okay, so
haven't gotten to
let's just do the
no.
first one. Um, but they're coming out with a series, a prequel series on
I
HBO.
did not. I
Yeah, it's
didn't
called
know.
Welcome to Derry or something like that.
Okay, all
So
right. Well,
it's
I think the first one stands alone. It stands alone, so it's not like it won't be good enough without the second one or something. But
yeah, it's almost I mean the second one is kind of like the story the kids a little years later coming, in the fighting back or
but
something like that. This
I'll tell you what, my favorite films that growing up, right, apart from Tarantino, what have been because I was a huge fan of Tim Burton and I was a huge fan of Johnny Depp. So if it was up to me, we could watch stuff like From Hell or Sleepy Hollow. Those are really good, but they're so old. So
it
I
doesn't
don't know if
matter.
you want to go back to the really, really old stuff.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's
You
movies.
sure? Have you
Yeah.
seen them? Have you
I've
seen
seen
them?
From Hell and Sleepy Hollow, but let's go with it.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
go
you're
with
gonna
it. We'll
scare
have
me
the
with
whole
the
month to go.
yeah, yeah, you're gonna scare me with the
And I need
clown.
to look up what's available because, dude, I can't keep like renting stuff.
No, no, yeah. So it is on HBO Max, so we can watch it
Yes,
on
yes,
HBO Max.
yes. It is available.
All right, guys. So that's our episode for today. Please go watch Bram Stoker's Dracula. If you haven't watched it, it's free
It
on
definitely is
Netflix.
a classic that I think especially people that want to go into film should have seen.
Yes, if you this is one of those films like if you want to be a filmmaker, you got to go watch this. This has everything you can learn and fascinate you about what being a filmmaker.
Mhm.
All the creative things that we talked about, you're gonna see it firsthand in this film. So go watch Bram Stoker's Dracula, and if you already watched it, let us know what you think about our review of the film in the comment section. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and go watch it. If you haven't seen it, not the old version, the new ones that came
What
out.
was your favorite scene? Tell us.
And yeah, and your favorite scene in Bram Stoker's Dracula, let us know. But go watch
It's
it.
2017, by the way, just so
2017,
everybody
that's
knows.
right. And
2017.
we will see you guys next week.
All
Laters.
right. Bye.